G'day everyone and welcome back. It is a frosty, chilly morning this morning. A bit windy too. Henry is out spraying. It's not that windy, but you know, it's chilly. So a few things have happened. It's been a while since I picked the camera up, so I think 2 or 3 days. In that time, the bar, bin, tractor, cart has all been washed. Today I'm actually about to take Chris down to the bus and he's off, he's done. And well, that's been about it really. We've just been focusing on that. I was in town yesterday with the bank manager and everything like that, so I wasn't actually here. But when we get back from dropping Chris at the bus, we have got to pull out the spreader. I've filled that full of fert from the truck that we had left over. There's, I think, about 4 tonne. We need to change the spinners on the back, well, the drop points on the back, and then we can go and spread out the last of our fertiliser. Chris is all on, well, I hope he's on the bus, but I'm back here now anyway, so I haven't heard from him, so I assume he's on the bus and he's on his way home. And Henry is now back. We just had the smoko because it is now too windy to spray. He's got 140 hectares. 140 hectares to go. And then he has finished the atrazine on the canola, which is bloody brilliant. And then he can start cletho, which will probably be next week sometime. The atrazine we wanted to get out first. You try and do that before rain. Looks like there's rain coming tomorrow night, which is also why I want to get this done. And so the spreader, I want to get this all spread out and done before the rain. There is now actually rain on the horizon for the end of next week, so at the beginning of June, so that'd be awesome if we got that. But yeah, so there's a few things to do. So we got this, need to wash out the shed properly so I can then, with the pressure cleaner, so I can then park things away in there. I need to wash the liquid cart internally, I haven't done that. Need to split them all, need to park the liquid cart and the bin away. The bar and the tractor I'll probably leave out. They are after out here next week to work on the spacings on that, to get that all back to, well, not back to get it to where it's meant to be. So they're going to be out here working on that and getting that perfect, which is good. Getting that done now before the bar gets parked away means it gets done, doesn't get forgotten about. So yeah, that's sort of what's on the cards immediately right now, this second. So we're gonna just change, because this has got the mouse baits. This is ready for mouse baits. So it's got the false door at the back, which I'm just gonna ignore that one. But we've got to change the discs. So well, there's a flat on the disc. We need to change that to a dome. So just gonna quickly do that, and then we'll get spreading. This here is what we need to change. So that's a flat disc. Don't ask me why they do that for mouse baits, but when you're doing anything else like fertilizer, we change that to a dome disc. So we're going to change that. Now the pain is that we actually need to take this arm off here as well. So it's not the quickest of jobs. You've got to take that arm off, change that, and then we're good to go. The other thing is that mouse door there. So you got the false door, which normally sits, right on the ground, and then it only comes out of those 2 slots there. I'm just going to ignore that for doing this. It's only 4 tonne. It's like 80 hectares or something. So we're just going to ignore that, and I'll just put the door at whatever I need to put it at. And it should be right. So take that off, and we replace it with this here. And it obviously just aids with the distribution of the fertiliser. A bit better than obviously what the disc does. The disc, I think it's... Actually, I don't know what the disc is for. I think the disc just helps it stall and not rush out, or... Who knows? Who knows? Henry's going to go off and spread that. So there's 4 tonne, and we're going to go at... I think I said it at 50 kilos a hectare, which is essentially 80 hectares you should get. We're going to go down to the canola, the velocity there, the first sown stuff, and feed it to that. it should respond better to spread phosphorus than going over, say, our barley or our wheat. So yeah, we'll see. You know, we get 80 hectares of it done out there. Now, I'm going to work on getting this clean. Now, it might look clean, you know, when you look at it, you're like, well, that's pretty clean. I did this with just with the fire unit, and I did that to get all the bulk of the stuff out, because when you finish, you know, there's all the dust, there's still beads in here of fur, and you just cannot move it when you're using the pressure cleaner. But I need the pressure cleaner because of this. So stuff like that is just fertilizer that has been set to the ground, and that occurs from when the blade comes in and crushes it, and then you're driving over it with your wheels. It just sets it into the ground, sets it rock hard. So I need to come in here and get all this out. Otherwise, you know, you start to ruin your concrete and all that sort of stuff. So I'm going to focus on this because I want to get this clean, and that way I can then park away the header that's out there, and then I can also park away my caravan, which I've been leaving out until, you know, I've got all this sorted. After I've done that, I will... Oh, so loud. After I've done that, we'll then go down and we'll look at washing out the cart. We'll head down there now because the stuff's down there, and I'll show you what we're going to do down there. So, just seeing the profies there, that's the soft carb. We went out with the agronomist the other day, so obviously I haven't talked to you guys since then. So we went with the agronomist, went over everything. All the canola is looking amazing. Just cannot get over how good it's looking. It's all even, it's up, it's germinated. And that's why Henry is out there doing the atrazine. So we want to get that atrazine done. You want to get it done before rain because atrazine needs water to soak it in to the profile. And then next week sometime he'll start up with the cletho and then go and do the cletho over it. So that's the grass spray. We've seen the sulfur carb there. We also went and did some sulfur carb over the beer over SEC. So 200 hectares. We've got a bit of a grassy patch in there, and we just went out there and did that again because they've got rain on the horizon. You need rain to soak that in within 5 to 10 days for it to, you know, to go into the profile and stop the grass. So that's that's also what we did with that. Got to get my beer, you know, as healthy as we can. And when you got grass growing in it, it's competition. It means that the barley doesn't grow as well. So jobs like washing down the Earnshaw and washing the shed out haven't been able to happen yet because Chris has been using the pressure cleaner. The pressure cleaner we run off the fire unit there. So that's how he went through with the fire unit and washed, you know, all the bulk of it off, and then we come back with the pressure cleaner, and then we get it all nice and clean. So you'll see just how nice and green she is now. All back to a standard. We've still got to sort of work on that one. That one there isn't completely done, but yeah, he's gone through and seen a spot that he's just missed. That's all right. It's a big bar. You're going to miss things. So yeah, this is all done. This is all ready to pack away. So I need to, when I finish with the shed, is grab that and then wash out the inside of the liquid carts. The pump and everything's been flushed, and I flushed it out to here. This is all good. It's had fresh water go through it, but the inside of the cart has still got some stuff in there. That is all washed and ready to put away. So we'll split all this and try and get that away. And like I said, AFCA are going to be out here next week, and they're going to be focusing on moving all my tines. So all my tines will be in the correct spot for next year. At least they're coming out, at least they're doing it. Now out the back here, unless Chris has put them all back in. No, he hasn't, it's good. I need to put all our rollers back in. So we washed the inside of the bin. So the rollers are all sitting out here. So I got to put all them back into here and just make sure that it's all clean. Things like I can see Chris has missed all the stuff in between there. So you can see there's grain and stuff in there. So I'll need to just wash all that, make sure that's all clean. That might actually be the door. No, that's the, yeah. So I need to make sure I clean all that up so we don't have any of that product left in. all in all, everything is all nice and pretty and clean again, which is good. Just it's now just our quality control, going over, making sure we haven't missed spots, and then parking all the way so it's out of the sun. It's had enough time out in the sun, so we've got to do that. That's all looking much better. So once this dries out, which will be this afternoon, I'll get the header in and then I'll be able to get my caravan parked away. We do have Jake rocking up in about an hour. He's bringing out a gator so that we can go and map all our paddocks again. So we might map like one paddock today, but I've got other stuff I need to do. I'm more focusing on mapping paddocks next week. But yeah, no, that'll be pretty good. We just got to steal our receiver off the bar. So we've got the 7000 receiver on there, the RTK, and then yeah, I'll be able to show you when it gets here. But it's all like Green Star ready, the whole thing. It's pretty cool. So we'll jump in that. Probably map a paddock just so that we know what we're doing, and then yeah, I'll get back to focusing on my job of washing and cleaning things and getting things parked away, especially with some weather coming. I sort of want to make sure that I've got it all packed away. And today's Thursday, the 22nd, and I leave tomorrow at about lunchtime because we're heading to Perth for the HBF run for a reason. So I'm getting minimal on on days to get things packed away before the weekend, and then anyway, that's the plan. Well, look at the big rig that's just rocked up. So Jake's just chopped this off for us. It's got our 7000 receiver on top. When we jump on in here, it has got our screen that was from Bandit is in here as well. And yeah, we're going to go and map some paddocks. So we did the driveway paddock just for Jake before, but we will go and redo that later on today because I want to drive it. Just make sure I put it exactly where I want things. So we'll go. I've actually got to pick up my oldest rat bag from the bus, and with her we'll go and map these paddocks. Well, we'll map the driveway to show you guys. But yeah, and then next week it's just going to be solidly me in this mapping paddocks because yeah, the exciting thing is once we do it, we chuck it all in. We'll have boundaries that are correct, so we can do our boundary fill perfectly. But we'll be able to use the function auto path, which is amazing. So that's basically just it knows where you are and it'll just drive you around the whole paddock, and it'll be great for. We'll be able to load it onto obviously all the machines, but the boom spray especially. And come something like next year, we'll be able to go, oh Henry, could you just not do the headlands on this paddock? We just want to do them last for whatever reason. He can go, yep, no worries, I'll put a 60 metre headland in, and go, all right, we'll put a 60 metre headland in ours, and then we can then, if we wanted to do like 3 laps or something like that, then you can just go along and do your turns perfectly, do headlands last, like a lot of you keep saying. Not that that's going to be the normal for us, but it's now the possibility that we can do something like that. The reason that we haven't been able to do that during seeding is because Henry's boundaries and the boundaries on the seeder are completely different. Henry has remapped some of those boundaries to his boom spray because he sprays wider, and so he's remapped a few of the paddocks from the boom, whereas ours are mapped from when I did it with a ute, probably an ITC receiver and a Gen 2 screen. So I'm excited to get it all done, all proper, get it all into the into our screen, into our ops center, and then have all our machines on the same page. And something like harvest, not this year, but harvest next year, it'll be awesome. The 2 headers will be able to just do auto steer the whole way around a paddock they'd normally have to hand steer, whereas now they'll just be able to just jump onto it, which is just going to be super cool. Right, shed's all clean. We're going to grab the fire unit now. We're going to go down to the Earnshaw liquid cart, and we're going to see how we can go about trying to clean out what's in the tank. And me, the first day, I haven't gone and put my torch on my belt because I was like, oh, I don't need it anymore. What do I need that for? Damn near need a torch, don't I? So anyway, we'll get down there and we'll see what we can do. Okay, that's interesting. We've got liquid in here. Even after I emptied all that out, actually I know how this has happened. So, I drained this tank first, and then what I did was I turned the tap off. So obviously I could only get so much out. I turned the tap off so I wasn't going to flow this liquid back into there. I've then sucked the liquid out of that one, and what's happened is when I've turned the tap back on just to try and get whatever was left in there, it looks to be about 500 litres at a guess that has siphoned out of that into there. And this is my concern. I haven't got a way to actually drain these, so that's why I'm worried about how I'm going to clean them out. But now that's just terrific finding that. I guess I just put it on the ground, but it's going to be a mess. It's going to be sticky and gross. So apart from there being liquid in there, it's actually not too bad. Just a bit of a rinse in there and we'll be all sorted. Okay, so I've had to dump that on the ground, and let me show you what our problem is now. There's no drain or dump on these. So when we go into this one here, which is empty, the right hand side there, that is the outlet, the big 3-inch outlet. Below that is the 2-inch outlet that has been the pump sucking, and you can see how much liquid we still have in here. I've got that in both tanks. I'll show you down below. That's the 3-inch outlet on both that I'm talking about. And then here is the low point. So this is the low point on both tanks. They marry together here. And this is how the two tanks are joined through this tap right here. I've got the issue now that I'm gonna have, I don't know, let's just say 300 litres, something like that I cannot actually physically get out. And here's what I'm thinking. It's gonna be gross and disgusting, but I'm thinking I'll try and cut this hose and split it in half. So I've got now, it'll drain both tanks. And what I'm going to do is in here, is I'm going to put a T-piece and a tap. And then this tap is how I will be able to drain it completely from now on. Not the best solution, I know, but sort of the only solution I sort of can think of right now. Now, what I'm not looking forward to is when I'm actually going to start cutting this and having liquid go everywhere. But hang on, people. I got another idea. Wait. All right, I got another idea. This idea will work perfectly fine. This here is the low point for that. If I just unplug that and drain that, that should work. Now, not ideal, but that means I don't need to cut it anymore. I don't need to put a tap in. I've now got the solution. It all sorted out for myself. Perfect. Right, that's going to drain those two tanks, and I'll be able to start rinsing them and get all that red stuff and all that residue that's on the inside out. So these are clean, and yeah, we're cooking with gas. I now have a slightly new problem. Let me show you. So the liquid isn't at the lowest point, which is there. And it's the same when you get into the front tank. The low point is over there. So I'm just going to do the best I can, and then we'll flip it around and clean it out later when we've got it disconnected. We're going to leave this. Henry's going to go off spraying shortly, so I don't want to split this by myself. We're going to do that tomorrow. He's going to finish spraying, and we'll split these two and park these two away. What we'll do is we're going to split it, and then we'll rotate it around so that all this main one here will all drain into that one, which will then all drain out. And then I need to put it so that it's uphill so that I can then wash this one properly. Like I've got most of the stuff, but yeah, it's just not I've got all the liquid stuck in there, which I can't have. So I've got some time before I've got to go and pick up the eldest. let's go map a boundary. I know why all you American and Canadians, you know, have these things. They're so much fun. Like, they're a lot of fun to have. They're a handy tool, you know, very handy for doing this, for fence line mapping. I don't know about what else you'd use it for. We need like an old style one to for down at home for all the horses and things like that, because we've got you know, we're gonna have we've got an arena that we need a rake and things like that. So having it for something like that would be ideal. But anyway, that's beside the point. So let's get this thing rolling. So you can see that we actually mapped it already with Jake, but I'm just not happy with some of the parts that we did. So he said it's just a demo anyway, so I'm sure he won't be upset if I delete it. So we're gonna go in and we're gonna delete this boundary and all the interiors, and then we're gonna create a new one, just so that no, there we go, delete boundary, just so that I can make sure that it's all perfectly exactly where I want it. Yeah, things like that. So this has got autonomy, so it's autonomy ready. So if I go create boundary and create driven boundary required for autonomy, go OK, and then down here you can see it's autonomy ready. So that's all sorted there. So we go OK, and then I'm not ready. Oh God, I've stuffed it up already, people. It says recording. I don't need cancel that. Cancel it. I'm not in the right spot. I'm not in the right spot. All right. Let's get in the right spot. We're in the right spot now. So we're going to go boundaries, create boundary, create driven, go OK, and that's all sorted, and we go OK. Now down here you'll see you've got autonomy, not autonomy, and autonomy. When we record this boundary, so to get auto path, you guys know how I've got like East Headland, North Headland, South Headland, West Headland, you know, your main run lines. So we keep all our run lines nice and straight. So when you do auto path, from what I've been told, is you can't bring in your current run lines like we have. You can use your main tram line run line, so your main run line or your controlled traffic line that we've been using, but I can't bring in all my other ones. And the way to get around that is to have the boundary, so you press pause, you start recording this, press pause, go all the way to the other end, go play again, and it draws a perfectly straight line to it, so you're going to stay perfectly straight. However, with autonomy you can't do that, because I'll show you, I'm going to do it right now, because we'll pause it, drive, get a straight line, the autonomy won't, when we go to do autonomous, which we're not going to do for a long time anyway, it won't acknowledge that boundary, because it's been a paused boundary. It needs to be perfectly driven by someone to have it as a boundary that you can use for autonomy. But autonomy is still going to be 5 years away for us, so we'll just, you know, remap the boundaries when it comes to then when we know we're going autonomous. So we've got our little stick there, and that is in line with our edge of our crop, and we just start driving. We're going to come around to here, and this is what I mean by I'm going to line that up, and then you can see how we've got a blue line here, so that's autonomy ready. I'm going to go pause. We're going to drive all the way to the end. Going to line our thing up. I think what I'm going to end up doing, he's got a chain in here that you drop down, so I'm going to zip tie that in. Anyway, so we're going to go resume and watch what it does here. So resume, we've now got this blue line and this yellow line, and now I'm going to keep driving, and we're going to have a blue line when we start. Now what this means is that for autonomy, it won't see that boundary, it doesn't exist to it, it doesn't trust it, and it's, yeah, again, when it comes to autonomy we'll drive it properly, but for now we'll just do this so that I like straight lines. I do not like having wobbly lines like this. So see how we got a wobbly line in front of us? We're going to straighten this boundary up, because we've got our little chain, well, our side there, it's going across. You can see down there we've got the blue line coming up, and then when we drive this next year on autopath, it'll drive it straight. Now when we get to our straight paddocks, like for example Atherton's Long, the one that we finished in, I'm going to do that with the pause, pause and go, record, pause, record, so we get nice straight lines, and that means that we will have nice straight AB lines essentially that it will do for the autopath. Because if you drive it like this, like a human being, you don't keep it straight. There's wobbling in it, and from the sounds of it, you're going to end up with wobbling with the seeder or the sprayer or the header, and I don't want that. I like my perfectly straight lines, as I'm sure a lot of you guys do as well. You just can't. It just irks me when you see wobbly lines everywhere. One thing, when you got a paddock like this, so this has got essentially 3 paddocks in it, but it's one paddock. When you do a boundary, you can't do 3 separate paddocks for one paddock. You have to. So for right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a drive straight out there and across and join. I'm going to go along, and it'll make sense when you see the thing at the end. But you end up with this tiny little ute-sized boundary essentially that you go that is just randomly out in the paddock or out on the road. Not so bad for anywhere else, but it'll make sense at the end. Anyway, with Jake, we did it at the other end, and I'm going to do it here because at the other end we've got a perfect track that I want to make sure is always done perfectly. So we'll leave it. Yeah, I'm just going to spear out here, and we'll create ourselves and do this section out here. Just got to make sure we don't cross over it when we come back. So when we come back, we're going to turn there and make sure we don't cross over it. It'll all make sense, I'm sure, but here we go, we're going around. Alright, so we're coming up to the track that it's going to all make sense to you guys. So when Jake and I did this just before, we came through just here, jumped in, did this paddock, and then went straight across there. So we've got this big section here. I want the seeder to come through and perfectly seed that section every time, perfectly seed this section every time. So by cutting out this section here and doing it down the other end there, jumping across like we did, means that we save all that there, and it's all going to be nice. So we are now, that's where we came through before. I can't zoom in on here for some reason, but I'll show you what I mean if I can show you. So we're going to drive around to sort of about here because our wheel tracks are just up in front of us. I'm then going to turn and make sure I don't go anywhere near where I did drive, which we're going to turn here, I reckon, and then we're going to rejoin. So what this means, I'll just get around here. Okay, so if you guys, I'll be able to show you, I'm sure, better, but that little gap there, we've got to end up with these little funnel sections in crappy little paddocks like this. And what it means is when the seeder comes around next time, it's going to try and go into that next paddock because that's the way the boundary goes. So the drive will have to be clearly, obviously keep driving and go through it, but it's the only way that we can do it to make sure that the boundary is done correctly. Okay, it's all going to make sense now. See, we're coming up to our track here, and we want to make sure that the seeder is going to do this perfectly every time, which we couldn't do with if I did the boundary how we mapped it just before. So we make sure that we put our boundary all the way out to here. Now the seeder might not be able to turn this sharp, but as long as the boundary's out to it, it's gonna be perfect. And you can see, like, Chris was driving on the track and driving off the track. It's obviously experience, but having it mapped perfectly means that it will be at the right spot every time, every year. Boundary is saved. We go okay, and then I'll show you what I mean. Turn around now. See that little gap that we've got here? That we've got there you go, you can see that. See how we've got that little gap to basically go over to the next paddock there. It's what we have to do. So it's only on paddocks that have got joins like this, like they're separated paddocks. Something like Hatton's back, we've got to do it in. It's really annoying. Hatton's front, Rushing A, we have to do it in. All of F block, yeah, there's a few of them. E block, it's a pain, but yeah, just what you can do. It's just all you can do. So anyway, look at this. We're going along our track here. Look at that. It's going to perfectly go along out here when we're seeding. Perfect. So we've only got one interior boundary to put in, so that's where we're headed now. We're heading down to our. There's a little pile of trees out here. And we go and we mark all our interior boundaries. Things like rock piles that aren't going to get moved, trees, anything like that. And in that way, the air seeder knows and the header drivers know and everything like that knows that there is there's something there, which is very, very handy come night time. Right, same sort of process. In we go, fields and boundaries. We're going to go, I think, into here. Yep. And then add interior, no, it's not passable. We go okay, and then we're just going to drive around our little pile of trees here. Make a nice little circle. We're just driving around. And then we want to keep going to probably about there. Oh, did I go too far? I'm going to go save. And let's have a look. Exit, 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 exit. Look at that, perfect. Actually, what I didn't name the boundary, but I suppose it doesn't really matter, does it? I can just go in there and rename it if I want. But that's mapping. Very simple, quite time consuming. If you've got a lot of impassable boundaries, lots of rock piles, lots of trees, it does take a while. Sort of the perfect time to be doing it because the crop is up and it's not too big, it's not going to get damaged, so we can just go exactly where we want. And it's just going to be so handy to have everything remapped perfectly. Now the only thing I'm thinking in my head is, should I go and map things like the power poles, just do a circle around them, and then that way they're done. I've got flags on them, but let's go. We're going to power pole just here. Let's just go and map it, and because the beauty is you can always delete them. You can just go back and you can delete anything you want later on. Let's go and map that, and we'll delete it later if we want. So this is our power pole. It's all going to depend on the turning circle of this thing here. I'm not too sure how it's going to go, but hang on, I want to do an interior boundary. And interior boundaries, there we go. We're going to call it, whoops, power pole. Go accept, accept, and now we're recording. So it really just depends on how sharp we can turn this thing. Oh, yeah, that's sort of doable. Stop that there. Go save. I'd made that as a passable. We do not want that. Take that off. Go save, save, exit, exit, exit. Now we've got a power pole mark there. You know what? I think I will go and mark every power pole now. That way, they can see them when they're coming up to them, and I can always delete them later. But obviously, I'll zoom in to one that's in the next paddock that would definitely benefit from getting mapped. Okay, see this power pole just here? It's got to stay on there. So there's a big wire that comes out to the right. So that is definitely something that we want to map, so that people will see it on their screens and they'll go, oh yep, no, definitely need to make sure we go around that, and hopefully the screen will tell them that they're coming up to a boundary as well. Right, I'm going to leave the video there, but you get an idea of what mapping a boundary is now, and I'm going to be doing this all next week. I'm going to go through all our paddocks. We've got 17, Shouldn't take us too long. Once you get going, it's just go, go, go. So yeah, I'm gonna leave the video there, guys. We're gonna pack a few things away. I need to go get my daughter, and we might, with her, we'll go and map this front paddock here, Mum's front, get that done, just to try and get it all done as quickly as we can in a timely manner. So thank you very much for watching, guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share. We'll catch you in the next one.